We watched Cutthroat Kitchen today because Elias wanted to show me how upsetting it is.
I love that show.
They made one of the people cook with a candelabra.
What?
And then they interviewed him and he's like, it doesn't really cook anything. It barely gets hot.
Oh my god.
There was this rotund man from New Jersey who kept threatening to drown people.
He was from Italy.
He was not from Italy.
Well, he was Italian, and he kept making Italian quips.
No, he said he said better than a pair of concrete shoes when he got a disqualifier.
That wasn't it. He made the lady wear a sweater, and he said, "That's a pretty good look." He's like, "You look pretty hot there." Yeah, it's
No,
better
she said
than a pair of concrete shoes.
She said, "This sweater sure is hot," and he said, "Almost as hot as you." And then he winked into the camera, and she said, and she said, "Stop."
You put that on instead of Peter Cottontail.
No, silent Peter Cottontail will remain in the background until it is over.
This isn't even an Easter episode; it's a beach
Can we
episode.
put on the audio from Cutthroat Kitchen to sync up with the movie? I have to cook with a spider. Oh,
Okay, we'll put on Deep Web Rocket Power in the background instead.
Okay.
I don't know if I can use any of this as a cold open.
Probably not.
Disclaimer! Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to find or mess with the authors featured on our podcast. They make what we do possible, and we love them. And you. Thanks. Enjoy.
Rocket Power handshake.
There we go, 42 minutes.
200 episodes. Perfect.
And monetized.
Incredible.
So, Steven, you recently moved into a new house away from...
Oh, it's a
Oh my
new
god,
episode.
that's so low quality.
We're watching 140p zoomed in Rocket Power with ads running on it on an infinite playlist on silent in the background. Welcome to the beach episode.
Totally tubular.
Insert music.
I got it figured out in my head already. As I was saying, Steven, you recently moved into a new house away from my guardian wings.
I did.
Now I noticed when I went over there for WrestleMania weekend, you have your girlfriend
Yeah.
and her aunt who is never there. Is that
Right.
correct?
Well,
And her husband
Yeah.
and another man.
Yeah, Aaron.
And the two men that were
Egoraptor.
there, yes, Egoraptor,
Yeah.
and the two men that were living there, they were shirtless the entire time I was there. So I have to ask, when are you going to get to that righteous level of roommate where you also get to be shirtless all the time?
Well, let's see here. I actually already tried it once, but then they noticed me and they went, finally. And then I shut the door slowly, and I never talked to them for the rest of the day.
Is that true?
It's true, yeah. That happened like 2 days after you left.
Welcome to the club, and you just like slam the sliding door shut. Your damn Japanese paper wall.
Yeah,
You slam your paper wall shut.
it fucking breaks. It flies away like a paper airplane.
The first episode of The Simpsons where they go to Japan, Homer throws his suitcases through the paper wall and then lays down in bed. And it's like the funniest 5-second animation. He's like, good to be home. And he throws his suitcases through the wall and then lays down and falls asleep. You could do that.
Oh, okay, hell yeah.
Just go home and break your girlfriend's house.
Close the door behind you and then throw your things through the door outside.
Zoe, listen, this is my house now. Half of this is mine.
You get in an argument and then throw your shoe through the wall.
You throw your shirt through the wall.
Your t-shirt easily pierces the paper wall.
Well, yeah, I put it on a sword, on the tip of a sword instead.
And Zorro lunged through the wall.
Oh yes, your sword.
It's
Always
my
at the
friend.
ready.
Always.
Your John Cena foam finger.
That's mine.
It's my side smash. It charges up real fast and I poke. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's been pretty decent. Yeah, Wawa up the street and they have good gas prices and food that's good until 10 minutes after you eat it. As we found out during WrestleMania.
Nah, I had an energy drink that day too, and that was probably the culprit of my intestinal tract disorder. It burned a hole through my stomach lining.
I feel.
I went to the hospital and they said, "Get over it, baby."
Oh no.
I poked you in the stomach until you said, "Okay, I'll leave." I've had a couple Wawa foods and I've never had anything that's like been super great, but I haven't given up yet. Maybe
It's not
next
so
time.
much that it's a great place, it's just the matter of convenience where you can just go there at any 24 hours of the day and get a sandwich and whatever you want.
That's true.
I guess so.
It's good enough food to be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I noticed you're the only one that's not looking at Tito.
Or half of Raymundo's Cheeto head.
I'll come onto the main couch so I can
Okay.
I can watch Peripheral Rocket Power.
Mean couch.
You know, I love Rocket Power so much because they go to the beach, and we go to the beach. We live in a coastal town, so we like to do that. Hey, fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, the beach.
Hell yeah, I love the beach.
Those are true.
Steven, what's your favorite beach story?
Oh god. I like this one time, me and my dad, my father has a priest friend, and he paid him to clean up his condo while I was out at Ireland and whatnot. And he lives like right on the beach on the island, like you can just literally walk a couple feet and be on a beach. But nonetheless, one of the times we were leaving there, he was walking the dog, and we were about to go to the car, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I'll go to the beach." He took 5 steps, got sand in his shoes, and he was like, "Fuck the beach," and we left. It was great.
That's pretty good.
Oh, because he messed up his new boots.
I bet he likes to sit outside and look at the beach and say, "Oh, it's great, I live at the beach," and then never go.
To be fair, that's probably what I'd do.
That's the Florida life.
What about you, Elias? What's your beach story that you had prepared this whole time?
One time I went to the beach and it started pouring rain, so I took my towels and shirts and stuff. There's like big lifeguard towers that are sprinkled along the beach. Then I hung my towels around the lifeguard chair so that no rain could get in, and then sat under the lifeguard chair in the rain for like 20 minutes and then went home because it was pouring rain.
Oh,
That
God
sounds
damn.
fun.
It was pretty fun. It was like a tent when you camp and it rains, except it was at the beach.
That's cool.
That's sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I've been to the beach a lot, but mainly it was just like to surf and go home. Sometimes when you go surfing, there's like a big current, so it'll take you like miles down the beach. And then when you get out of the water, you're like, "Oh wow, now I have to walk several miles to get home."
Right, you have to like find like a house or something in like the distance as like a landmark.
Yeah, then you have to just like blindly walk down the beach with your surfboard, and it gets heavy, but you gotta keep going until you see that house.
Yeah.
That's the experience.
Have any of you guys like gone into the water and you've gone to like what's it called, the breaking point where the waves get really hard? Breaking point. Have you ever gone there? Have you ever had like a boogie board or a surfboard or something that straps to you and got knocked down by a wave with that shit? It is scary as hell because it
is
drags
really scary.
you.
It also could hit you in the head because it'll like it'll recoil
That happened
on
to
you.
me a lot.
Yeah, I feel. My dad and I, we used to boogie board during the summer and whatnot, and we just go out like really far to the point where we couldn't keep up with the waves anymore and then just come back in. We hit the breaking point once. My dad got way ahead of me, and he abandoned me to be in the fucking breaking point and shit. And so like all these waves over my fucking head just kept knocking me down, and I had my boogie board strapped to like my ankle. And at one point, my boogie board slipped out from under me. The wave pushed it over my head, so it flipped my ass underwater like a damn cannonball.
Oh my god.
That was not pleasant. I immediately walked back to the beach. My dad came back like on his stomach on his boogie board. He was like, "What happened?"
He rode the big kahuna all the way to the shore.
That's how it goes. You get knocked out, and you just want to like sit on the sand and like chill out for a second.
Yeah.
That's what they say when you get knocked down on a surfboard. When you have something attached to you just want to cover your head because worst case scenario, you get hit in the head really hard.
Right, like I just get salt water in my nose and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Can't handle it. Ugh.
It's part of the fun of going to the beach too. Almost drowning.
Yeah. So, George, you got any stories?
Let's see. Technically, it's not a beach, but it's an inlet that goes off of the beach.
Mm.
But I remember we would go to this one like every summer when we were camping, and we would just like go around and explore because it was pretty shallow. Like at most you could be like standing with the water above your head, but that was it. But like I remember we were like floating out in the water and just like hanging out, and my dad goes like, "Hey, I think I got a turtle under my butt." And we're like, "What does that mean, old man?" So then he like cackles and like reaches down and pulls up this giant snapping turtle that he can hold in both of his hands.
Oh my god.
He's like, "This is pretty cool, huh?" I'm like, "Put that down."
A snapping turtle.
Yeah, it was like a foot long.
Oh my god.
Florida men are fearless.
Also in that same inlet, I saw a dolphin do a backflip, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was just hanging out there. Like around the sunset, they like to come in and just like chill. But I saw one like splash up in the air, like some SeaWorld exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dolphins and sharks also interchangeably like swim near the coast,
Mm.
which can be scary or fun if you know which ones are which. Also, during the hurricanes, we usually get tropical storms in this area. So if you go out surfing or go out in the water during tropical storms, there are like waves that are really strong and also really huge.
Oof.
And those are fun to like be at the ocean around. They're really dangerous, but they're really cool because they're like
Yeah.
10 feet above your head, and they're like, it's just really interesting to be out in the water during like when there are waves that big that are going on.
Yeah, like they're fun to behold.
Yeah, you can like check them out or just like try to like body surf them or surf them if you're scary.
Oh yeah. You know, it's funny. There's actually an episode of Rocket Power like that. There's.
Hopefully we get there. Just gotta keep talking.
Oh, we will.
There's an
your
episode of
playlist.
SpongeBob like that.
Oh yeah, when they search for the perfect wave.
Yeah, when Johnny Depp's there.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
that's
voices
right.
John Kahuna Laguna.
I love that name.
It was good.
Whoa, there's a storm in Rocket Power right now. This could be it.
Oh no.
This is horrible content. We're just looking at muted rocket power,
Pixel
trying to comprehensively do a podcast.
The pixel tearing is so bad it makes the line art look like it has texture.
Here, readers at home or listeners at
Oh
home.
my god, this might actually be the one.
Wow.
What timing? Just look up, just YouTube search Rocket Power and then put on the 200 episode playlist. It's like bit crushed and sped up and
Zoomed in.
yeah, it's horrible. But if you go to episode 2 or 3, you can watch the episode we're talking about on that playlist, apparently.
Apparently.
Don't worry.
God, Reggie was straight cheesing. Okay, no more talk about rocket power.
God.
We've got business to attend
I
to.
just want to say that friggin' Raimunda has really short arms than what I remember.
Yes, and a big peanut head.
It's a puff Cheeto.
Ah. Anyway,
Alright.
Speaking of stories, we wrote beach stories.
we thought it'd be fun to write stuff again because we haven't done that since Christmas, and it's some of the funnest we have doing the show.
Very true.
Yeah, so we've all written stories.
We've
And,
all written stories.
Can pass those around and read. Do you remember how we passed them last time?
I think we just did like the opposite of what we did before, because like I remember you read my first one, then George read my the other one.
And I remember you read my Halloween one, which means you have to read this one.
Okay, and then Steven reads mine.
Oh, no. And then Elias reads mine.
Okay,
Alright.
who wants to go first then?
I'm indifferent.
I've already got mine loaded up. If you wanna.
You go first, George. Alright. Let's go.
There you go. Lean into the microphone.
Yep, I got it.
Oh yeah, and just a disclaimer. I don't know about you, but mine's not a crossover. Just so Just so we're clear here, we're still crossing the line, but not in the same way as usual.
We're crossing the line in our writing.
Crossing the line is not responsible for fan death.
I made a
Yeah.
crossover. A
I-
three-way
I-
crossover, so you're covered.
Oh god, I crossed over a lot.
Nice.
But all right. The weather was practically perfect. Not a single cloud in the sky. You just can't beat days like today. A series of cars are driving down the highway together, making their way to the beach access. They all park next to each other in the parking lot, and everyone steps out of their vehicles. Tommy stretches out, wearing a tank top and green swim shorts and sandals, his purple hair swaying with the gentle breeze from the nearby waves.
It's all grown up.
His younger brother Dill brushed past him, scurrying to the beach.
I hope they're still babies.
He was driving.
I didn't say he was driving, I said he got out of the car.
Oh,
He has
true.
purple hair.
Oh.
Cody doesn't have hair.
That's right.
Maybe he's...
I specifically remembered to write that because of that.
Dang.
He got
Tommy kicks the door open and his parents freaking...
He waddles out and heads to the beach.
his fucking fat baby legs kicking open a car door.
Their freaking Vista Cruiser or whatever.
His younger brother Dill brushed past him, scurrying to the beach, wearing an inner tube he made out of rope and trash bags. Tommy simply shrugs off the usual high energy that his little brother always brings with him. Another one of his family members walks past him. Out of my way, shrimp dick. I've got to work on my tan, his cousin Angelica stated.
God.
She just states that to her cousin.
Angelica's so mean.
God damn. The royal blonde was wearing a two-piece bikini with a fashionable wrap around her waist. She was carrying a beach towel and a rather fancy drink, the kind of drink that she had to get from her emotionally weak father.
That's true, he would do that.
It's very
For
true. Oh my god. That makes me sad. Drew got busted down by both his wife and his daughter.
He got bullied.
He got baited hard. Sir.
Drew does the beta male smile through the entirety of the Rugrats show.
As she made her way down to the sand, Tommy heard the sound of two doors closing simultaneously as his twin friends Phil and Lil both slap high fives and scuttle down to the shore.
Scuttle.
Their mom Betty cackles and follows everyone
She
behind.
does do that.
I don't like that she's following as she cackles. Lastly, we see the old Finster car pull up as the family of four emerges. Chaz in standard bathing trunks.
Keep reading.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by rocket power.
Yeah.
Chucky in the exact same outfit as Tommy, his adopted mother Kira in a skin-tight suit ready to surf some waves, and of course Kimmy in a beautiful slim two-piece suit. Tommy's eyes are locked on the beautiful Asian queen that stands before him. His trance-like state is only broken by a pound on the back by his best friend. Hey Tommy, pretty good idea. Let's all take some time off and go to the beach. I gave him an accent for some
You
reason.
started to make him Italian.
Yeah.
No, that's how he sounds. Sounds wheezy.
Yeah, Tommy stumbled over his words. It's a great time out for everyone, huh?
Tommy's suspicious.
Why does my friend sound Italian all of a sudden?
Yeah, Chucky.
Why does he have a soul patch all of a sudden?
Why is his hair black? And slicked back in some sort of grease.
Why does his name tag say Tommy Vassetti? Now that everyone was here, the large group had fully set up a nice spot on the shore. Chairs, umbrellas, towels, and of course a cooler filled with refreshments. Most of the crew was already in the water when Tommy noticed that Kimmy was still struggling to put a sunscreen on her delicate oriental skin. Tommy slicked his hair back and made his way to her.
I pictured him not having hair when you said that and just like sliding his hand across his bald head.
This like a lump and it moves.
The way they animate it, they just put like a friggin' shine spot on his forehead to indicate grease.
No, I was more thinking he has that like lump from when he was a baby, and it just like squashes and stretches backwards.
Gives himself a fucking xenomorph head. Oh my god. Need some help, he asked. Yes, that'd be perfect, Tommy. I just can't seem to reach my back. Tommy took the bottle and squirted the liquid protection in his hands, and he slowly ran his hands down the Japanese girl's tender frame.
Is she Japanese?
Yeah.
Okay.
His body wanted to involuntarily let out noises, but he kept his mouth shut.
Uh-huh.
Kimmy realized that she was practically receiving a massage from the confident lad and decided to lay down on the beach towel she brought so he could cover her whole body in lotion. She giggled as her childhood friend gently caressed her hips and made his way down her legs. That makes me uncomfortable.
I'm glad that Steven decided to read this even though it was my turn. Because I would not want to read this.
No, it was Steven's turn.
I thought because he read my Halloween one.
No, I read your Halloween one.
Yeah, you read his last time.
Yeah,
Oh.
he read my My Life Me, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't dare make you read that. Just like I wouldn't dare make you read this.
Tommy felt like a frisky pickle as he had his hands on his goddess and rubbed her up and down, making sure that her hips and thighs were excessively coated in sunscreen.
I thought that Chucky was incest horny for Kimmy. Was it Tommy who dated her and all grown up?
I think they had like a thing for a little bit, but I don't think it like went anywhere really.
Yeah, the show devolved into just being about friendship.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because Tommy had a crush on a like Jewish girl. I remember.
Chucky did not like his fucking sister.
Yes, he did. I remember in the movie when they were children.
George, if you look up All Grown Up Pal comics, you will see scientific evidence that he liked his sister.
I retract my statement. I don't want to think about that.
Oh no, I shut the story off.
Come on, Steven.
That's the
Hold
end.
it. Just
Okay. It's here. You two planning to get in the water? Tommy looked up in horror. He hadn't even noticed how long Chaz had been standing there above the two. Oh no!
That was a really good voice you gave Chaz.
I had to do a double take. I wanted to get it right.
God, it's so funny.
That was standing
Chaz.
there, like an upward view,
He's just watching them.
like a like a worm's eye view or whatever of Chaz Finster.
With his soda looking down, leering down with his glasses eyes.
His frail goblin stomach.
Don't call it that! Goblins!
He's simultaneously super skinny but a big round pot belly.
Skinny fat. Oh my god.
He's got like a diet soda can.
I'm watching my weight.
He says gripping a 2 liter of diet soda in one hand.
The doctor says it's just water, Wade.
Dr. Pepper.
Okay. Oh, yes, Mr. Finster. Just wanted to make sure nobody gets any annoying burns, Tommy shakily replied. The two got up and went towards the water, but Tommy suddenly felt a hand on his shoulder. Mr. Finster leaned in to get his mouth as close to the boy's ear as he could.
No, I can't. Don't say anything. Chaz, don't say anything, please.
I read the first sentence and I have to really power through this, okay?
Take a deep breath. Time to take a drink.
Listen to me, you fucking little whore dog. If I ever catch you doing something like that again to my sweet little girl, I will leave you in such a way your fucking dad won't even be able to piece you back together like he does to all the broken toys you left around his house at all hours of the day.
While his hand loosening his grip, Tommy slips away from the pasty father figure and slowly walks to the water.
He's so not intimidating, but it's so scary because he's not intimidating.
He's unpredictable.
How do you accomplish that? You're so intimidating and yet not.
It's like when you're so ironic, you loop back around to being
Yeah.
unironic.
Fair.
You develop a layer of intimidation from just being purely unintimidating. You're afraid of why he's not intimidating, and that in turn.
That's a good point. Oh my god. He swims over to his pal Chucky, who is corpsing face down on the water. He lifted him up and patted Chucky on the back so he would cough up the water. He was dying. His father is just standing there fucking with Tommy, and his fucking son is face down.
There's like 12 of them in the water, and nobody looking.
That's what Chucky always does when he gets in a body of water.
He just does the dead man's float.
And he
It
falls
wasn't
asleep.
intentional.
Oh my god. Once he recovered from his near-death experience, Chucky was happy to see his friend. Boy, Tommy, I'm sure I'm having a fun today. The redhead chuckled. Yeah, I am too, Chucky. Tommy watched his best friend's father sitting under a beach umbrella sipping on a Diet Orange soda. That is
You were
something
right.
to do.
Yeah.
Tommy's emotional level quickly shot from fear to anger. Why does this douchebag get to dictate what I do and where I do it and who I do it with?
It's so funny. It's exactly what I pictured Tommy thinking when Chaz did that.
I want to find this episode.
Yeah.
The solid, like, third of the episode where Tommy's just rubbing oil on fucking Kimmy. Let's see here. Poor Chucky is so warped by this guy's way of life, he doesn't ever see how cruel he can be. Tommy looks back to see Chucky splashing in the water, having a great time. He then turned his gaze to Kimmy, laughing with the twins. Returning his eyes to their portly father, Tommy clenched his hand. No one can tell me what to do, Tommy thought. I'm gonna do this whole neighborhood a favor and tell this guy off. This is not the time for that.
They're all just having fun, and Tommy is harboring a personal grudge.
He's going through so many emotions.
He is, God. As the day went on, Tommy tried to distract himself by enjoying the day with his friends and family. The sun began to set, so everyone began to pack it in. Angelica hobbled back to the car, her body bright red from a sunburn so serious she would have gone straight to the hospital had her mother given her an insurance plan and not a walk it off. A just walk it off mentality all through her life. Everyone said their farewells and drove off, even though they all live in the same neighborhood. Sitting at the dinner table, Tommy was eating dinner with the family, the usual family banter. As everyone finished their meals, Dee Dee and Stu got up from the table to head to bed, while Tommy sat with his grandpa Lou. Lou noticed that Tommy didn't have his usual vim and vigor about him. What's the matter, Sprout? Get blue-balled? What? Yes, actually. How could you tell? Sprout, when you get to be as old as I am, you can practically smell when your fellow man is denied his sweet release. Now, what's the problem? Embarrassed, Tommy tells the story about today, what happened and how it happened. Chaz, huh? Lou stated.
Lou's had his eye on Chaz for a while.
Lou's been waiting for a fucking...
Lou's like, finally, someone's standing up to that asshole.
Finally, someone sees things from my point of view. You know, I always thought that guy was a dick, and cringy as fuck, too.
You know, he kept me from Chucky's mom.
I've known her since she was in China.
Since the war. He doesn't know
I don't
what
even know what
Japan
country
is.
she's in. He's just making this up.
He's just feeding fucking lies to his...
Just getting mad and lying.
He's being an enabler to his kid's rage. How he got one of those beautiful slant eyes is beyond me.
Jesus Christ, Lou.
I know, right? Tommy replied.
Tommy's like, I don't know about this guy. I'm gonna get up and go back to bed.
You know, I was with you until that last part, Lou.
Like, hold on, Lou, did you say China? We're talking about the same person.
Alright, Sprout, I'm gonna help you. This isn't the kind of work that you should have to get into alone. We're gonna get your God-given release. Hidden under the veil of darkness, the two made their way to the Finster's home.
Right from dinner.
Wearing Dee Dee's stockings over their faces.
Did the other two parental figures not hear this conversation? They're all at dinner.
They laugh.
They just thought Lou was having a fucking seniority attack.
No, they laugh.
Having an
Oh, that's
episode.
right. Oh my god. This is great. Chaz, the ever so nervous man, always made sure his doors were locked, but that wouldn't stop these two vengeful warriors. Grandpa Lou began to scale the side of the building. Alright, Sprout, watch me! Watch me slice right in! Slice! Grandpa announced as he made his way up to and down the chimney. Almost immediately after the front door popped open, letting the young boy inside.
Grandpa's down the chimney.
That was a time bomb.
Slice! That's the greatest. That just warms my fucking heart. Oh.
Seeing Grandpa Luby and Klasky Supo animated down a chimney.
Choice. He has the body strength to do that. That's amazing. The two made their way in. Silently, they stalked around the house, looking out for the man of the house. Grandpa used some of his old army hand signals to direct Tommy to his objective. Tommy simply nodded and the two parted ways. The purple-haired criminal inched his way to the bedroom of his beloved. Criminal.
This is the second time you've written an infiltration house story.
They're funny!
They are.
I'm always so scared for the people living there.
It's okay, sliced right in. This is amazing. Oh my god. Tommy simply nodded and the two parted ways. The purple-haired criminal inched his way to the bedroom of his beloved. Soon he was at Kimmy's door and gently opened it without a single creak. Carefully tiptoed his way over to the sleeping girl. Removing his mask, he put a hand on her shoulder in an effort to wake her. Tommy? Kimmy asked. Is that you? What are you doing here? Do you know what time it is? Don't worry, Kimmy, Tommy replied with a smile. I'm here to help you. Come on, let's grab your stuff. Are they kidnapping her? What are you talking about, Tommy? I don't want to play right now. Just let me go back to sleep. You don't understand. You just don't understand. If we don't get you out of here right now, there's going to be loads of trouble. We've got to move quickly.
Nobody's in any trouble but you for breaking in here.
Tommy bent down to pick up the reluctant Japanese queen, but she struggled and refuted to give in to, it's making me uncomfortable. She jumped
What is Grandpa up to right now?
This is a scary story. What is he doing? She jumped out of bed to get away from him. Knock it off, Tommy. This joke has gone on far enough. But, Kimmy, if we aren't together and you're left here, who knows what'll happen? You've got to trust me. And you've got to trust that I don't need this at 2 in the morning. Go home before I call my dad. Something inside of Tommy snapped. Your dad, huh? Is that what you want? Your dad? Suddenly a shrill voice is heard from outside the room. Kimmy instinctively rushes past Tommy to go see what's happening in the house. She walks out to find an unconscious Chucky Finster with his shirt pinned to the walls by a staple gun, as well as some masked Loco Bandito wrestling with her father figure.
Yes, Grandpa's keeping him at bay.
Hell yeah. Chaz is covered in bruises with his hands zip-tied behind his back.
Jesus.
He's defenseless!
He's already been subdued.
There was an apple stuffed in his mouth to keep him quiet. Just then, Tommy comes out of the room. Ah, shit! Ah, shit, 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 shit! He cries.
Chucky, you shouldn't have, or Tommy, you shouldn't have got seen. You were just a witness to this crime until this point.
Tommy, what's going on? This is mortifying. Help my dad, please. Tommy stood there motionless. He wasn't sure what to do anymore. His world had been shattered after being turned down by his one true Oriental Express. Kimmy rushed into the fray to get the stocking-wearing villain off of her father, but he proved too strong, and the effort was wasted. She was shoved back and bumped her head on the counter nearby, knocking her unconscious. What happened, Sprout? You had the easy job here. Grandpa said as he forced pressure with his knee into Chaz's side, causing the poor man to tear up. I don't know, Tommy shouted back. She didn't want to do what I asked. You see, this is why I went to war against their kind. Let's get out of here and never deal with their kind again. Grandpa kicked Lou in the temple, knocking him out as well. The next morning, Kimmy found herself in bed. Wow, what a crazy dream. I gotta lay off of Dad's special brownies. As the sun is shining brightly, bringing in the life of a new day, we see Tommy standing in the window of his room, holding binoculars in his hands, as he beats off to the side of Kimmy's mother, Kira, changing her outfit in the window. Upstairs in the attic, Grandpa Lou is doing the same. And that's the end.
Well, that's fitting.
That's good.
I like how they immediately swear off the Japanese people. And then the very next day, he's looking at her mother.
Oh my god. I rate that 2 solid swooses out of 2.
That's quite the story.
That was great. Oh my god.
That was such a nice vignette.
It was.
I'm gonna rate it a nice vignette out of 10.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I wish I could rate my own, but
I feel.
that would be tacky.
I'm gonna get some water.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Beach break, beach break.
Beach break.
We're back. We just got in from crashing off of some gnarly pounders.
Totally tubular.
Yeah.
Elias, how would you like to read us a tale while we sip on our colas?
Always.
Sure. Chapter 1. The Challenge. It was a calm, humid summer evening. The sky, a deep indigo as the sun had withdrawn into the horizon, yet still gave natural light to the town of WWE City.
Fuck.
The center town stadium was ablaze with loud chants, cheers, and the deafening sound of bodies hitting the ring canvas. So in the center of town, there's just a giant stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect for WWE City.
You saw the Scooby-Doo movie.
It was 7 p.m., exactly 1 hour before WWE Raw would be broadcasted live to the promotion's millions of out-of-town fans. Of course, locals were completely free to watch on an open-door policy, a policy unknown to that of one unwelcome visitor from California. About an hour and a half later, that same man made his way outside of the arena building. Surprisingly, he didn't have to dodge many fans. as he had thankfully found a decent parking spot in a secluded lot behind the arena. He waddled hurriedly to his car, tossing a goodie bag into his passenger seat before carefully shifting himself into the driver's side. A faint rummaging sound was heard, and before long the madness began. Hey everyone, this is Joey from Joey's Super Cool Food Reviews. I'm back! In front of the camera sat Joseph Hernandez, known by his internet alias, Joey's World Tour. The large and probably not in charge Mexican sat clad in the WWE Women's Division's merch. Except, of course, for the Rey Mysterio mask he had somehow squeezed his Mr. Potato Head into. It actually only came up to about halfway down his face, impairing his vision as the eye holes rested more on his forehead than his eyes. Joey pulled out the goodie bag he had taken with him, revealing it to be full of WWE concession stand items. So he's only been at the show, which started a half hour ago at this point. So he went in for 30 minutes, bought a bunch of merch, and then went out to his car to start reviewing them or something.
Yeah.
Didn't even stay for the whole show. How's it going today, muchachos and muchachas? Today I am reviewing some free concession vittles served here at WWE City's Center Arena. We have all kinds of neat stuff in here like pretzels and hot dogs and check this out. Joey threw his head to the side, damn near tossing the mask off his head as the camera cut. Now let's take a look here, muchachos. Let me just take this stuff out. Joey proceeded to go through every food item with a meticulous diculous. There was a lot of the same items, yet he introduced them.
What?
A meticulous diculous.
Thank you.
There were a lot of the same item, yet he introduced them all individually as if he had lost the object permanence, his hand subtly scratching the strange crusted stain on his brand new Bailey tights. That same hand would then later investigate the texture of the substance as he rubbed his fingers together, but you weren't supposed to see that.
Where's the beach?
We're good there.
So what you think about that? Pretty neat stuff, huh? Joey sighed fondly. This stuff reminds me of when I used to watch wrestling as a little kid with my muchach ma and muchach pa. We'd run for the border and Joey
you
was
always
interrupted.
make yourself laugh the most with these things.
Joey was interrupted by a deep, loud vehicle horn. He stopped briefly in the middle of his spiel, his eyes starting to the side. He continued. And then we'd watch Friday Night SmackDown on the patrol officers' little TV things, you know, this little screeny thingies they kept on their desk for, like, surveillance or whatever. Another honk shook Joey's lowrider, and this time he chose to ignore it, closing his eyes and sighing in an annoyed fashion before continuing his spiel. Then we practiced moves on the guards, like these power bombers and the pile drivies, and, all of a sudden, a loud church bell gonged through the parking lot. The lights, including Joey's own car lights, all went out as Joey's review went to black. What? Why can't I see? What's going on? Joey, what's going on? Joey said with an air of petty in his tone. The lights cut back on, and Joey proceeded to look every which way, terrified. A loud knock from a tall, monstrous figure almost shook Joey out of his shoes. "You're in my parking spot, you cursed whale," bellowed the Undertaker, clad in his own ring gear. Joey looked through his windshield.
I like your Undertaker voice.
Joey looked through his windshield and noticed the enormous superstar bus that had been trying to get his attention for the past 5 minutes. No, this spot isn't for you. Joey, of course, resorted to his persona being as his social skills had degraded just that much. "It has my name on it, you Hispanic lima bean." Or sorry, that's Undertaker. "It has my name on it, you Hispanic lima bean." Undertaker pointed to the large steel plate name tag on the wall in the back of his spot. Joey imitated a loud game show buzzer and responded, "It says Joey, look at it." The name tag upon closer inspection had indeed been tampered with, but because crayon was an inadequate substance to draw on steel with, the rushed scribbles were barely noticeable. The Undertaker took a closer look at Joey, his mask making his forehead swell a bit from poor blood flow. Suddenly, Taker twisted his already natural grimace into a face of rage. "Wait a minute, I recognize you. Vince sent me a message a bit ago about some planetoid who stole over 5,000's worth of concession food and merch." Joey darted his eyes back to side. "I didn't steal anything. No one was there, so obviously that makes it free." "The concessions and merch booths were on break, you idiot. There were signs." "I thought on break was like a wrestling catchphrase or something," Joey yelled back, a handful of on break signs slipping out of his tights. A loud smack was heard as Undertaker viciously grabbed Joey by the neck, or chin, whichever he actually has, and pulled him up face to face with himself. Here at WWE City, there's only one way to settle a legal dispute like this. A grapple. Joey's World Tour, I challenge you to a 60-minute Iron Man match at Bash at the Beach 2019. This Sunday on the
60
WWE
minute?
Network.
That's a third of the pay-per-view.
With this,
Some unhealthy internet celebrity.
He has a week. It's Monday Night Raw, so he has till Sunday.
with this, Undertaker threw Joey back into his seat. The familiar church bell gonged, and once the lights had yet again went on and off, Taker was gone. Joey sat on his seat, shaking with fright. He turned his attention to the camera. Oh geez, muchachos and muchachas, how am I gonna beat The Undertaker? A 60-minute Iron Man match? I can't even stand for that long. What's going on? Joey proceeded to go through all 5 stages of depression, eating his feelings until he ran out of ill-gotten concessions. At the state of acceptance, Joey returned to his old petty self and began to reason with the situation.
$5,000 worth.
Of concessions and merch.
Oh, I can't park at my designated parking spot. I can't park somewhere else. It's too hard. I'll teach that lousy Undertaker to make me face consequences. No one messes with Joseph Leon Hernandez and lives to tell the tale. Nobody! Joey screamed into the camera, cracking the lens with his pitch. The portly Ford of a man then drove himself home to prepare for his biggest challenge since that time he tried eating a thing of fucking Nutella with no hands. Chapter 2, The Beach Bash. After having uploaded that poorly edited episode to his YouTube channel, Joey found himself promptly unemployed after his job at Maserati was terminated the very next night. Apparently, an employee uploading themselves under fire for petty theft is bad for the company's image. SFX, Rocky's training theme. Da-na-na-na-na. Joey spent the week before the match getting himself in. That was just a Nostalgia Critics intro.
Well, now I have to play that.
Joey with a gun.
Just that playing in the background and then exercising.
Joey spent the next week before the match getting himself into shape, and of course, Joey's idea of in shape is just gaining 5 more pounds and something. To be fair, Joey did more exercise that week than he'd done since his grade school days, lifting the remote, clicking his mouse for knuckle endurance, and of course the patented 3-yard dash to fetch his copy of Edible Manhattan from the mailbox.
What?
His 3-yard dash to his mailbox to get his magazine.
What's Edible Manhattan?
It's a food magazine.
Oh. I thought it was something bad.
Oh.
Joey also tried to sharpen his wits by making attempts to place higher in Fortnite Battle Royales, but quickly abandoned this method after failing to get above number 97 in 130 consecutive games. However, he said quickly. However, Joey's failed attempts that he streamed on Twitch, combined with the plethora of exposed videos that had surfaced once YouTube had learned of his thievery accusations, had brought much attention to that Sunday's Bash at the Beach. WWE Network subscriptions skyrocketed as it was revealed that allegedly burglar Joey's World Tour would face The Undertaker, and many in the YouTube community had bought tickets to watch the bout in person. It was the day of the pay-per-view, and 3.5 hours of poorly booked matches in the blazing sun that overlooked Gullah Gullah Island, the main event, had finally arrived.
Gullah Gullah Island?
That's where Bash at the Beach is. Joey's staring daggers at me.
Is that not where it
Isn't
is?
that like a cartoon?
It's a live action show with the funny yellow frog monstrosity. Gullah Gullah Island.
Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island.
That's what I went to.
The beach location of the island appeared somber in the deep navy blue blanket of the evening sky. However, this was disturbed by the chants, jeers, and claps emanating from the WWE universe. The noise then began to quiet down as the guest announcer, Review Bra, picked up the mic and made his way to the ring. Hello, everyone. This is a 60-minute Iron Man match. The match will go on.
Matches.
Yeah.
This match will go on for 60 minutes, and the victor will be determined by whichever opponent has captured the most pinfalls and/or submissions. Oh God, I messed up the page. SFX, Undertaker's theme.
There we go.
Just then, The Undertaker began his entrance, walking down the docks towards the dune-entrenched ring. It took around 20 minutes for the taker to arrive at the ringside, as was tradition. Meanwhile, guest commentators Ethan and Gila Klein chimed in. God, look at this guy, Gila. He's so fucking creepy. I am legit scared. Like, why does he have to wear that trench coat and shit? How many kids do you think he's trapped in there? Ethan's brow furrowed as viciously as he made his 24th pedo accusation that evening. Apparently, having concluded that doing commentary on PG sports entertainment and running a podcast are the same thing. Gila just nodded her head and hoped well for their child's mental health. Once Taker had gone to the corner of the ring, Joey soon made after his entrance. The arena was shaken by an obviously loud quote from the Titantron speakers. I'm back! Woo 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 woo! SFX Meatballs Parade by Kevin MacLeod. Out from the backstage waddled Joey, clad in one of his own custom t-shirts. It depicted a disgusting caricature of himself. However, it had been edited so that the cartoon looked like he was escaping handcuffs, with a caption that read, "Justice for Joey." It's spelled Jeoy, and then it says in parentheses, "No, that's not a misspelling on my part." Joey also wore flat black full-legged tights and boots, as well as white sports tape on his wrists. To top it all off was his lucky pair of Mickey ears, which he always wore when facing a challenge greater than himself. The Joestar made his way down the stage.
The Joestar?
It says Joestar, but I said Joestar. Shooting the double guns at random folks in the crowd like some kind of Great Value brand Cactus Jack. Of course, his entrance wouldn't escape the cynical eye of H3H3. God damn it. You want to save some food for the rest of the world, huh? God, look at this. Look at these mouse ears, Gila. What do you think this does at Disney World? I think some parents might want to hold their kid's hand extra tight, if you know what I mean. Ethan then coughed into the headset, splitting Vince McMahon's eardrums and causing both himself and his wife to be dragged off of commentary. Both Joey and The Undertaker were in their respective corners. Review Bar finished up his commentary. In this corner from Death Valley, weighing in at 309 pounds, is the Phenom, Undertaker.
Venom.
The crowd roared with applause and cheers. Thank you. And in this corner from San Jose, California, weighing an awful lot for his age and height, he is what social media is calling the living, breathing Hamburglar. Joey. Joey attempted to hype up the crowd, but was instead berated with deafening boos and "you suck" chants. An onion struck Joey in the back of the head from the crowd. Review Brush smacked Joey upside his head. A fan jumped the barricade and beat the shit out of Joey for 10 minutes, and Undertaker nor security did anything to stop it. The camera zoomed in on the barely conscious Joey as this happened, now to his feet, and with two black eyes, one of his Mickey ears bent. Review Brock called for the starting bell, and Joey immediately grappled Undertaker's waist, trying to use his weight to bring the man down. Undertaker super armored this attack and responded with a forward tilt where he punches Joey in the throat. Joey clutched his jugular, collapsing to one knee. He would have been off his feet had he not been winded by wasabi in the past. Undertaker unleashed a number of right hands to Joey's head and proceeded to hammer throw him into the corner. Joey hit the turnbuckle so hard that his feet left the ground and the turnbuckle bent 10 degrees. Joey sat in the corner, dizzy from the attacks he had suffered. Undertaker backed up to the opposite corner and proceeded to indicate he was going to charge Joey. Taker launched himself at the food reviewer, leaping off of his feet in order to hit an avalanche splash. However, while Undertaker was in midair, Joey spat a bright red mist into the Phenom's eyes and quickly fell on top of him, lifting his legs onto the top rope so all of his weight was on the Taker. Joey won the first pinfall to the amazement of the crowd.
He cheated!
It's an Iron Man match, anything goes.
The two went back into their corners, Joey licking the ketchup from his lips as he patted his back pocket. Joey spat ketchup in his eyes. Gross. Joey may not be a fighter, but a hungry man always keeps his condiments close by. Undertaker, infuriated having suffered the first fall, blinded Joey with his forward smash, busting an actual concrete headstone over Joey's damn noggin.
Forward smash.
Joey collapsed and lay bleeding and dazed. Taker went and stole a surfboard from someone in the crowd and wedged it in the ropes. He then took a long piece of chain and proceeded to tightly bind Joseph Fuckstar to the surfboard ropes. With ropes.
I made that joke.
Undertaker smacked Joey upside the head to snap him out of his daze and proceeded to pull his shirt up all over his face, exposing his gelatinous torso. Taker gave his stomach a hard smack before calling into the crowd for the drink vendor. The vendor handed Taker a pitcher of lemonade, which he proceeded to pour over Joey's shirt-covered face, effectively waterboarding the 54-year-old man.
He's 54?
Yeah.
And you're
So is
bullying him?
Undertaker. They're the same age. Yeah, it's crazy.
true.
I thought the Undertaker was in like his 60s.
Nah, he's fucking 54, surprisingly.
And Joey is true.
The vendor promptly gave Undertaker another pitcher to continue drowning the Hispanic fogey. The cycle continued for about 58 minutes. The entire match is just him being waterboarded over and over again.
Lemonade.
Sticky lemonade.
His shirt over his head and a fucking rope.
Rope to his surfboard wrapped up in the chains. in the ropes. Until the referee interfered to check up on the Joestar. Joey wouldn't respond to the consciousness check, and so Taker was awarded the fall via submission. The score was 1-1, with a little bit less than a minute left on the clock. Joey lay in his corner motionless. The ref checked up on Joey to try and get a response out of him, but to no avail. Even a McDonald's apple pie couldn't get the man to his feet. Concerned, the referee held up the X with his arm, signaling that something was wrong. The paramedics brought out a stretcher and strapped Joey down. They began to leave with the portly Papa to give him medical attention. SFX String Disco by Kevin MacLeod. Suddenly, active Raw general manager Damon Drops came out to the ramp and halted the paramedics.
Keeping him from getting medical attention.
No, don't you know? That's not how we gonna do it now, player. Joey ain't no quitter. Joey's got more gas in his ass, and to think not is just cross, you know? Joey, stop playing and fizzle this sizzle, you nizzle. Dame proceeded to punch Joey in the chest, causing him to spit up a bit of lemonade as he regained consciousness. Joey, reinvigorated after the pep talk, flipped himself up over onto his stomach. The stretcher still strapped to his back. Joey opened up his mouth and spat a strong current of lemonade, similar to that of the Yoshis from Mario Sunshine. He shot himself straight at Undertaker like a missile, slamming the stretcher into him from above. Undertaker attempted to resist being pinned down by the stretcher, but Joey continued to lay the pressure on. Kiko Joe! Joey screamed, spitting a stronger current of lemonade to help Stretcher push Taker down. Just then, the two noticed the bell ringing multiple times. Joey's actions actually had occurred long after the final bell had rung. Dame Drop's pep talk was a figment of his lemonade-saturated imagination, so the whole debacle with the lemonade stretcher was just him assulting a WWE talent before they could leave the ring. Joey had tied with his opponent in the match, but was promptly sent to the WWE Azkaban for charges of thievery and attempted homicide. The end.
Dame in the drops.
Oh my god.
I love your Dame Drops voice, Elias.
I agree.
I've had to do it more than once.
Oh my god.
That was so funny. Joey stole from an arena and then got cornered by the Undertaker, who challenged him on YouTube to the beach blast off.
For an hour long match.
where he cornered him and then waterboarded him for the entire match.
I rate that story 58 minutes of waterboarding out of an hour.
Dang, that was my rating. I rate that a 10-minute beating from a fan with camera closed in.
With no help from anyone.
No acknowledgement or help.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
Okay.
Damon was a figment of his imagination.
Do you want any water before reading?
No. I'm good, Shaka Bra. Just got this last bit of sunscreen on me. Figure we got time to chill before the sun goes down. What you say? And keep going strong?
Oh, don't you?
I'm ready to beach. Here you go.
You know what they say, life's a beach. That's what I called my fanfiction, by the way. Author's note. I do not own the rights to any of the characters mentioned in this story, but I will say they are all 100% canon, and so is this story. Thanks.
They're all canon, huh?
It was a beautiful day on the Going Merry. Luffy sat on the ram's head and smiled as he saw a new island approaching. He yelled, "Oi oi! Land ho!" Usopp's giant nose bubble popped as he began to scream. Chopper, Nami, Robin, Zoro, and Sanji smiled. Then they all said simultaneously, "Oh, Usopp." As the crew docked on the sandy shore, they heard trumpets and saw banners and tents painted with the words "Weekly Tri-State Area Beach Blast Off." Luffy began to pant and pointed at one banner that said, "Beach Cook-Off, 2-man team, food plus cash prize." Robin hopped off the boat and said, "Well, I need to find the rumored poneglyph here, so leave me out of any beach episodes." Sanji frowned, knowing all too well the fan service implications of docking on Beach Episode Island.
Beach Episode Island!
Sanji frowned. As discussed earlier that day, the Straw Hats would win the cook-off and find the poneglyph, which was hidden on the Beach Episode Island that always made you forget when or where you were, regroup and leave the island with the food and prize money. To keep them focused, Usopp had invented the Usopp Sharpie, which he then used to write goals on each of their hands.
He did not invent that!
Behold, the Usopp Sharpie! It's like a marker that never comes off.
He takes it out of its packaging.
He says that and then unravels it really quickly, like unboxes it.
He opens another Sharpie to scratch out the logo for Sharpie on it.
He just writes the word Usopp before the word Sharpie.
On each hand was the following. Luffy, stay out of trouble, Captain. Hold on. Luffy, stay out of trouble, Captain. Chopper, help Nami carry supplies. Nami, buy supplies. Usopp, leave the locals alone. Sanji, win the cook-off. Zoro, help Sanji cook, hand him stuff, etc. with a small drawing of Usopp. Robin would not let Usopp Sharpie her hand.
She knows it happens when you have a mark on you from that man.
She said, "No thanks. I'll remember what I have to do. It's fine."
Sanji approached the stage, looking for a sign-up booth, when a pointy-headed man bumped into him. Grabbing his suspenders, the man skeezed. "So, the Straw Hats are entering the beach cook-off, huh? I, Foxy, will destroy your chances with my superior cooking and ability to kick sand."
This is wonderful.
Sanji made a disgusted face and walked past Foxy, but Foxy grabbed Zoro's shoulders as he tried to follow, so Zoro drew his sword. Foxy put his hands up quietly. Cool it, big guy. I just wanted to offer you a friendly gift. Zorro frowned and said, okay. Foxy held out a glass of something. It's mead. I had a little extra from my dish tonight. Take it. Zorro hesitated, then quickly snatched it. Thanks, Roxy. Then Zorro walked away. Foxy laughed. Hamburg's eyes glazed over.
Rocks.
He's like, thanks, Roxy.
3 kids were kicked out of a car onto the sand. They stood up and dusted themselves off. The orange-haired girl whined. Mom, why do I have to spend all day at the beach with Phineas and Ferb? Mom poked her head out the window.
Oh no!
Candace, you're responsible for those boys. You're the big sister, and your father and I need a kid-free day. Don't even try to come home. We took your keys, phone, money, and now we are leaving for 24 hours. Have fun.
24 hours? They
Candace.
left them at the beach! He needs a kid.
They left them on Beach Episode Island.
They need a kid-free day.
They drove
So
them
they
to
give-
Beach Episode Island.
Yeah, they need a kid-free day, so that's them over 24 hours.
God.
Candace was alone. The 2 boys looked up at her. Phineas said, this little drawing of Phineas. Candace, we're going to get into so much fucking trouble. Then the boys walked away.
I just looked her square in the eye. They're like, be responsible, keep track of those kids, and they drive away. And then Phineas just looks up and he's like, we're gonna get into so much fucking trouble, kid. And they walk away.
Candace became red in the face. She was so mad. Then she heard a rustling in the bushes. A long nose poked out, and she heard a voice. I couldn't help but overhear your dilemma.
Oh no.
Candace said, yeah, it's so unfair. Phineas and Ferb always pull crazy antics and no one believes me. Usopp jumped out of the bushes, nude except for overalls and a hat with attached goggles. That's what he always wears.
I know, I just thought it was worth pointing out how she sees it.
No shirt, presumably no underwear.
Nothing. Just getting chaffed constantly by his...
He's not wearing shoes, he's at the beach. Just that.
He put his arm around Candace, the intense B.O. assaulting her face. He said, don't worry, the great Captain Usopp will help for sure. He's disobeying his own rule.
Well, she's not a local.
Luffy was helping Phineas and Ferb gather all the sand. Gather all the sand on the beach by pushing a big bulldozer through. Luffy said,
This better not be going where I think it's going.
Luffy said, "Geez, Phineas, you really need all the sand on the beach to build this sand castle?" Ferb whipped Huffy with his sandstone bull whips.
Oh no.
Yeah, yes, Luffy, all of it, Ferb said.
Ferb is British, he goes, yes, Luffy, all of it.
I thought he didn't talk.
He doesn't talk normally, but when he does, he's got like a polite British accent.
Yeah.
Yes, Luffy, all of it. The cook-off had begun, and Nami watched the announcer from behind the palm trees, with Chopper by her side. The judge, who was a tall and wide man wearing a Groucho Marx glasses, nose, mustache, spoke. On to the final round, Foxy and Hamburg versus Sanji and, Zorro, I think. Adjusting his glasses, he saw a small monkey with green hair, who was also wearing a backwards hat and a red shirt with no pants. Foxy erupted into laughter. That's right! I tricked Zorro into drinking a mead. I made using a stewed my gym partners monkey. Hey, my gym partners. Hey,
hate you!
Monkey, no me.
I'm so mad! I'm furious!
God, I want to say that line. I've made Zoro. I tricked Zoro into drinking him. I tricked Zoro into drinking a mead I made using a stewed my gym partners monkey no me. Now he's too short to reach the table, and also a monkey.
What a stupid name! My gym.
It really tripped me up reading partners.
I need to drink some water. Oh my god. I thought it was Jake and it was a crossover, but that did not go the way I thought at all.
The my gym partners monkey no me.
This is great. Oh my god. Couldn't breathe. Oh.
Oh. Sanji was annoyed. This was very funny, and Zoro hadn't been much help so far anyways, but he hated Foxy, and the fact that Hamburg was also the judge but in a bad disguise was pissing him off. Nami said, "This is getting out of hand. Now's our chance. We're going to steal the grand prize." Chopper frowned. "We're supposed to be buying supplies, Nami, not stealing more money." Nami snapped. "Well, those idiots aren't getting us anything. The clock is already running, and Sanji is busy flirting with ladies on the beach while Zoro is smashing kitchen supplies around."
The clock is going and Sanji just left. And Zoro's making a mess as a monkey.
Oh, Foxy's just like cooking.
Foxy's just pleased with his handiwork.
What a stupid animal. What a dumb, useless, hairy, ugly, smelly, brown, slow animal, Nami said without breaking eye contact with Chopper. Chopper looked down and said, "Sorry."
Roast!
Nami's talking about Zoro on stage, but she's looking at Chopper the entire time.
She's Scotty Brown!
She's talking about Jake. Or Zoro.
I hate that show.
And now Zoro can't swim.
What powers does this afford?
He turns into a cartoon character.
He turns into a dumb monkey.
A few yards away, Robin kicked down the door to a beachside changing bathroom. A platypus with a fedora followed closely behind, jumping in on two legs as a chorus chanted, "Agent P." Robin's determined expression turned to one of disgust as she witnessed the scene before her. A frail man in a Speedo oversaw an LCD screen. On it was a giant metal detector being constructed somewhere presumably nearby.
Yes,
Also a poneglyph set in the corner. He turned around. He had deep eye bags, thin balding hair, and blackened teeth. He smiled wide. "So, you found me even here in my diabolical beach changing room, Agent P, and sexy swimsuit lady." Robin looked down. She was now wearing a bikini. A big pair of metal hands came down to trap the two, but Robin easily broke them apart as they fell to the floor. Doofenshmirtz said, "Hold on, as Perry the Platypus kicked him across the face and he toppled against the computer board. The buttons went wild and the on-screen giant metal detector took off, flying towards a giant sandcastle in the distance. Perry looked worried. Robin walked over to the poneglyph. As Agent P arrested Doofenshmirtz, Robin read the glyph out loud. It said... Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Hello. I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled on your first night. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact. So, I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about. You'll do just fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Robin looked confused. Perry looked up and was also confused. Doofenshmirtz seemed to acknowledge the text knowingly.
They know how to read the podcast.
Doofenshmirtz just recognized that certain soundbite.
The buzzer went off. The Straw Hat's kitchen was a mess. Sanji sauntered on stage smoking a cigarette. Hey, you dumb moss-head monkey. How'd we do? Zora looked up
I would pay so much money to see someone do this on Newgrounds.
Zora looked up at Sanji with dead eyes, expressionless. The judge had the 2 dishes before him. From the Straw Hats, we have a smoked bourbon banana pudding. There sat some mashed banana and booze on a plate, flecked with diet and with dirt and hair. And from the Foxy Pirates, we have some undercooked spaghetti with no sauce. Wow.
You gotta read that again.
Oh my fucking god!
From the Foxy Pirates, we have some undercooked spaghetti with no sauce. Wow. Hamburg looked disappointed, despite this being his own cooking. Holding up one hand, he said, "Straw Hats win! I will go get your prize!" Sanji raised one curly eyebrow. He didn't even taste the food. Not bad, stupid monkey.
I want to draw Sanji and partners a monkey. Oh my god.
Hamburg returned to his mic and adjusted his glasses. The prize has been stolen. Foxy ran up to the mic. By me! Foxy! Hamburg leaned down to the mic again. No, by some thief. Across the beach, Nami and Chopper just finished...
trying to take the clout for stealing something!
Foxy was gonna steal it, but it got stolen before he could.
I need a drink.
Oh my god.
Foxy couldn't cook, so he was just planning on stealing the prize. Then it got stolen from him.
At least Zoro was able to put booze on a banana.
He just smashed the bananas on a plate and got dirt and hair in it, and then poured beer on it, and then presented it.
That was better than undercooked spaghetti.
And then Hamburg looked down, he's like, banana pudding and undercooked spaghetti with no sauce. Wow.
Whoa.
My Jim.
Monkey, no me.
Oh my god.
Across the beach, Nami and Chopper had just finished stuffing treasure into the giant sandcastle. Nami said, "Thanks for building this giant castle, Luffy. I can't believe you used all the sand on the beach. It'll be perfect to hide treasure in until the rest of the crew gets back." Luffy was laying down, exhausted, when a small red-haired boy yelled from atop the castle, "Thanks for the treasure, sexy woman. It is legally ours now." Nami looked down to see she was now in a bikini. She looked annoyed. "No way, you dumb kid. You get down here, I'll kick your ass! Just then, Usopp jumped out of the bushes, followed by Candace. Actually, Nami, these kids forced Luffy to build this castle for them. They whipped and beat him into submission. Candace chimed in. That's right, we saw it all, both of us. Nami looked unamused. Well, if Usopp says it's true, it's probably not anyways. Just then, a giant metal detector flew towards the castle, beeping loudly. It smashed into the front gates, as tall as actual castle gates. They resisted at first, then smashed open. Out poured tons of sand, treasure, and food, flooding the beach and the cook-off stage, destroying all of the stands. The Straw Hats climbed out of the wreckage and looked around. Everything had been destroyed. Pulling out what food, treasure, and supplies they could, Nami asked Robin, Did you find the poneglyph? Robin sighed. Yeah, I guess. Zoro made a monkey noise. The end.
Hooray!
Oh my god. Well done. Well done.
I rate that story an al dente pasta meal with sauce out of 10.
I rate that a really redundant ass fucking fruit name. my.
God. These are so fun. These are probably my favorite stories.
I love when Sanji walks up to the stage after the contest is over and blows smoke in the monkey's face. And he's like, so how do we do, you dumb moss-head monkey? The monkey looks up at him with dead eyes and says nothing. And then Hamburg's like, okay,
Hamburg couldn't even bring himself to give his own cooking right.
Hamburg fails himself.
Steven, can you draw Nami and Robin inexplicably in bikinis
Okay.
for the thumbnail?
Sounds
It'll get
good.
us many views.
Sounds good to me. Just as long as I can also draw Jake.
Of course. You can draw all the characters if you really want to.
Ooh.
If you can handle the deadline, the episode's due in this week.
See, I'll probably do the Robin and Nami, and then I'll do the friggin' Zoro Jake as a friggin' warm-up.
You do Zoro Jake standing on the cooking table with a big mess and Sanji just smoking a cigarette next to him, standing up at normal height.
What do we do now, you stupid monkey?
Not bad, stupid monkey.
Stupid moss-head monkey.
Monkey. This is just mashed bananas and whiskey.
With hair and dirt. He calls it a smoked bourbon banana pudding with vanilla bean specks.
I like how Usopp was there to further conclude how nobody believes Candace.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'll lend you credibility, and then Nami's like, nobody believes you, Usopp.
They whipped Luffy into submission.
And Nami's like, well, if he said it, it's probably not true.
I'm just glad we never saw a certain group of folks on the TV right now. Where's the sand? It's all gone.
No, I thought about it.
Oh god.
It took a very long time to write with pencil.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
I haven't written anything in pencil in a long time.
Well, the sun's all setting. I think we should pack it in, boys.
Very well, very well.
Thank you guys so much for joining us out here for a day of fun in the sun. It was a great time. We met a lot of characters today.
Indeed, indeed.
I love the beach. The wind is nice, the sun is beautiful, and the waves make a good sound. I sound like I've never gone to the beach before. We actually do go to the beach.
Yeah, the beach is one of the only things to do here.
True.
Well, I guess we can unmute Rocket Power now.
Hope you enjoyed this beach episode.
I mean, on our crankable TV, because we're at the beach.
I mean, unmute Rankin Bass Easter.
can unmute the beach rocket power that plays 24/7 every block down the beach.
Unmute the children we're watching that are recreating rocket power.
Silently. Okay, kids, you can make rocket power noises again.
Oh no, they just called that one squid and now they're beating on him.
Oh no, the father is also beating on him.
They're asking him what the big N on his shirt stands for. You know,
He's
he can't
grinning.
talk about that.
I don't know why, but that black police officer's marching off full purposefully towards him.
Whatever he says, it's the wrong answer, and he's around.
Oh my god! Everyone get out of here! He's gonna say it!
Oh no!
I'll try to splice those together, it'll be sweet. Okay, goodbye! Good night, good day, good morning.